Alright, we're gonna try something here. We'll be reading the very first book from Goosebumps. Welcome to Dead House. Alright, here it goes. Josh and I hated our new house. Sure, it was big. It looked like a mansion compared to our old house. It was a tall, red brick house with a sloping back roof and rows of windows framed by black shutters. And if I stammer or stutter, I'm sorry. I'm trying my best here. It's so dark. I thought studying it from the street, while the whole house was covered in darkness, as if we were hiding in the shadows of the gnarly old trees that bent over it. It was the middle of July. The dead brown leaves blanketed the front yard. Our sneakers crunched over them as we trudged up the gravel driveway. Tall weeds poked up everywhere through the dead leaves. These clumps of weeds had clumpily overgrown an old flower bed beside the front porch. This house is creepy, I thought unhappily. Josh must have been thinking the same thing. Look up at the old house, we both groaned loudly. Mr. Dawes, the friendly young man from the local real estate office, stopped near the front walk and turned away. Everything okay? He asked, staring first at Josh, then at me, with his crinkly blue eyes. Josh and Amanda aren't happy about moving, Dad explained, tucking his shirttail in. Dad is a little overweight, and his shirts always seem to be coming untucked. It's hard for my kids, my mother added, smiling at Mr. Dawes, her hands shoved into her jeans pockets as she continued up to the front door. You know, leaving all of their friends behind, moving to the strange new place. Strange is right, Josh said, shaking his head. This house is gross. Mr. Dawes chuckled. It's an old house, that's for sure, he said, patting Josh on the shoulder. It just needs some work, Josh, Dad said, smiling at Mr. Dawes. No one has lived in it for a while, so it'll take some fixing up. Look how big it is, Mom added, smoothing her straight black hair and smiling at Josh. We'll have room for a den and maybe a rec room too. You'd like that, wouldn't you, Amanda? Wouldn't you? Amanda, I shrugged. The cold breeze made me shiver. It was actually a beautiful hot summer day, but the closer we got to the house, the colder I felt. I guess it was because of all the tall old trees. I was wondering, I was wearing white tennis shoes and a sleeveless blue t-shirt. It had been hot in the car, but now I was freezing. Maybe it will be warm in the house, I thought. How old are they? Mr. Dawes asked Mom, stepping onto the front porch. Amanda is 12, Mom answered, and Josh turned 11 last month. They look so much alike, Mr. Dawes told Mom. I couldn't decide if that was a compliment or not. I guess it's true. Josh and I are both tall and thin and have curly brown hair like Dad's and dark brown eyes. Everyone says we have serious faces. I really want to go home, Josh said, his voice cracking. I hate this place. My brother is the most impatient kid in the world, and when he makes up his mind about something, that's it. He's a little spoiled. At least I think so. Whenever he makes a big fuss about something, he usually gets his way. We may look alike, but we're really not that similar. I'm a more patient than Josh is, and more sensible, probably because I'm older, and because I'm a girl. Josh had a hold of Dad's hand and was trying to pull him back to the car. Let's go. Come on, Dad. Let's go. I knew this was one time Josh wouldn't get his way. We were moving to this house, no doubt about it. After all, the house was absolutely free. A great uncle of Dad's, a man we didn't even know, had died and left the house to Dad in his will. I'll never forget the look on Dad's face when we got when he got the letter from the lawyer. He let out a loud whoop and began dancing around the living room. Josh and I thought he'd flipped or something. My great Uncle Charles has left us a house in his will, Dad explained, reading and rereading the letter. It's a town called Dark Falls. Huh? Josh and I cried. Where's Dark Falls? Dad shrugged. I don't remember your Uncle Charles, Mom said, moving behind Dad to read the letter over his shoulder. Neither do I, admitted Dad, but he must have been a great guy. Wow, this sounds like an incredible house. He grabbed Mom's hand and began dancing happily with her across the living room. Dad was sure excited. He'd been looking for an excuse to quit his boring office job and devote all of his writing career. This house absolutely free would be just the excuse he needed. And now, a week later, here we were in Dark Falls, a 4-hour drive from our home. Seeing our new house for the first time, we hadn't gone we hadn't even gone inside, and Josh was trying to drag back to the car. Josh, stop pulling me, Dad snapped impatiently, trying to tug his hand out of Josh's grasp. Dad glanced helplessly at Mr. Dawes. I could see that he was embarrassed by how Josh was carrying on. I decided maybe I could help. Let go, Josh, I quietly grabbing Josh by the shoulder. We promised we'd give Dark Falls a chance. Remember? I already gave it a chance, Josh whined, not letting go of Dad's hand. This house is old and ugly, and I hate it. You haven't even gone inside, Dad said angrily. Yes, let's go in, Miss Dawes urged, staring at Josh. I'm staying outside, Josh insisted. He can really be stubborn sometimes. I felt just as unhappy as Josh looking at this dark, old house, but I never carried on the way Josh was. Josh, don't you want to pick out your own room? Mom asked. No, Josh muttered. He and I both glanced to the second floor. There were two large bay windows side by side there. They looked like two dark eyes staring back at us. How long have you lived in your present house? Mr. Dawes asked Dad. Dad had to think about it for a second. About 14 years, he answered. The kids have lived there their whole lives. Moving is always hard, Mr. Dawes said sympathetically, turning his gaze on me. You know, Amanda, I moved here to Darkfall just a few months ago. I didn't like it much either, at first. But now, I wouldn't live anywhere else. He winked at me. He had a cute dimple in his chin when he smiled. Let's go inside. It's really quite nice. You'll be surprised. All of us followed Mr. Dawes, except Josh. Are there any kids on this block? Josh demanded. He made it sound more like a challenge than a question. Mr. Dawes nodded. The school's just 2 blocks away, he said, pointing up to the street. See? Mom quickly cut in. Short walk to school. No more long bus rides every morning. I like the bus, Josh insisted. His mind was made up. He was going to give my parents a break, even though we both promised to be open-minded about this move. I don't know what had Josh thought he had to gain by being such a pain. I mean, Dad already had plenty to worry about. For one thing, we hadn't been able to sell our old house yet. I didn't like the idea of moving, but I knew that inheriting this big house was a great opportunity for us. We were so cramped in our little house, and once Dad managed to sell the old place, we wouldn't have to worry at all about money anymore. Josh should at least give it a chance. That's what I thought. Suddenly, from our car at the foot of the driveway, we heard Petey barking and howling and making a fuss. Petey is our dog, a white curly red terrier, cute as a button, and usually well behaved. He never minded being left in the car. Now he was yowling and yapping at full volume and scratching at the car window, desperate to get out. Petey, quiet, quiet! I shouted. Petey usually listened to me, but not this time. I'm going to let him out, Josh declared, and took off down the driveway toward the car. No, wait! Dad called, but I don't think Josh could hear him over Petey's wails. Might as well let the dog explore, Mr. Dawes said. It's going to be his house too. A few seconds later, Petey came charging across the lawn, kicking up the round leaves, yipping excitedly as he ran up to us. He jumped on all of us as if he hadn't seen us in weeks, and then, to our surprise, he started growling menacingly and barking at Mr. Dawes. Petey, stop! Mom yelled. He's never done this, Dad said apologetically. Really, he's usually very friendly. He probably smells something on me. Another dog, maybe, Mr. Dawes said, loosening his strip tie and looking warily at our growling dog. Finally, Josh grabbed Petey around the middle and lifted him away from Mr. Dawes. Stop it, Petey, Josh scolded, holding the dog up close to his face so that they were nose to nose. Mr. Dawes is our friend. Petey whimpered and licked Josh's face. After a short while, Josh let him back down on the ground. Petey looked at Mr. Dawes, then at me, then decided to go sniffing around the yard, letting his nose lead the way. Let's go inside, Mr. Dawes urged, moving a hand through his short blond hair. He unlocked the front door and pushed it open. Mr. Dawes held the screen door open for us. I started to follow my parents into the house. I'll stay out here with Petey, Josh insisted from the walk. Dad started to protest, but changed his mind. Okay, fine, he said, sighing and shaking his head. I'm not gonna argue with you. Don't come in. You can live outside if you want. He sounded really exasperated. I want to stay with Petey, Josh said again, watching Petey nose his way through the dead flower bed. Mr. Dawes followed us into the hallway, gently closing the screen door behind him, giving Josh a final glance. He'll be fine, he said softly, smiling at Mom. He can be so stubborn sometimes, Mom said apologetically. She peeked into the living room. I'm really sorry about Petey. I don't know what got into that dog. No problem. Let's start in the living room, Richard Dawes said, leading the way. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised by how spacious it is. Of course, it needs work. He took us on a tour of every room in the house. I was beginning to get excited. The house really was kind of neat. There were so many rooms and so many closets, and my room was huge and had its own bathroom and an old-fashioned window seat where I could sit at the window and look down at the streets. I wish Josh had come up inside with us. If he could see how great this house was inside, I knew he'd start to cheer up. I couldn't believe how many rooms there were. Even a finished attic filled with old furniture and stacks of old mysterious cartoons we could explore? We must have been inside for at least half an hour. I didn't really get keep track of the time. I think all three of us were feeling cheered up. Well, I think I've shown you everything, Mr. Dawes said, glancing his way, glancing at his watch. He led, he led the way to the front door. Wait, I want to take one more look at my room, I told him excitedly. I trotted up the stairs, talking them two at a time. I'll be down in a second. Hurry, dear. I'm sure Mr. Dawes has other appointments, Mom called after me. I reached the second floor landing and hurried down the narrow hallway and into my new room. Wow, I said aloud, and the word echoed faintly against the empty walls. It was so big. I loved the bay window with the window seat. I walked over to it and peered out. Through the trees, I could see our car in the driveway, and beyond it, a house that looked a lot like ours across the street. I'm going to put my bed against the wall across from the window, I thought happily, and my desk can go over there, and I'll have room for a computer now. It, I took one more look at my closet, a long walk-in closet with a light in the ceiling, wide shelves against the back wall. I was heading to the door, thinking about which of my posters I wanted to bring with me, when I saw the boy. He stood in the doorway for a second, and then he turned and disappeared down the hall. "Josh!" I cried. "Hey, come look!" With a shock, I realized it wasn't Josh. For one thing, the boy had blonde hair. "Hey!" I called and ran to the hallway, stopping just outside my bedroom door, looking both ways. "Who's here?" But the long hall was empty. All the doors were closed. "Whoa, Amanda!" I said aloud. Was I seeing things? Mom and Dad were calling from downstairs. I took one last look down the dark corridor, then hurried to rejoin them. "Hey, Mr. Dawes!" I called as I ran down the stairs. "Is this house haunted?" He chuckled. The question seemed to strike him funny. "No, sorry," he said, looking at me with those crinkly blue eyes. "No ghost included. A lot of old houses around here are said to be haunted, but I'm afraid this isn't one of them." "I I thought I saw something," I said, feeling a little foolish. "Probably just shadows," Mom said. "With all these the trees, the house is so dark." Tugging in the front of his shirts. "Why don't you run outside and tell Josh about the house?" Dad suggested, tugging in the front of his shirts. "Your mom and I have some things to talk over with Mr. Dawes." "Yes, master," I said, with a little bow, and obediently ran toward to tell Josh all about what he had missed. "Hey, Josh!" I called, eagerly searching Josh. "Josh!" My heart sank. Josh and Petey were gone. Alright, in the first chapter, I think I messed up a little bit in the reading. I knew it was going to happen, but we'll try to see if I continue this. I'll go if I don't have no problems, of course. But we'll see if I continue this or not.